The new details around the All Elite Wrestling TV deal with TNT. What night are they actually going to air? It's next on the Squared Circle Psychobabble. Hello and welcome to the Squared Circle Psychobabble. My name is Michael Valenti. This is Ralph Valenti. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. We're trying to hit 10,000 YouTube subscribers before All Elite Wrestling's all out. So, obviously, we know that All Elite Wrestling TV will be starting in the fall. We don't know the actual first night it will be aired, but a lot of people are speculating that it's going to be the first week of October on Tuesday,
right?
When, Fox takes over SmackDown and that goes on Fridays. However, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, that might be a completely different story. They're saying that the people at TNT are actually heavily favoring that All Elite Wrestling airs on Wednesdays.
Yep.
Now, nothing is official yet, but this is what's going around. And actually, this might be the better move. Which night do you think they should go on, Tuesday or Wednesday?
So if you think back to some of the initial points that were made regarding why they wanted to have it on a Tuesday, it actually makes sense to me, right? Because if you're a pro wrestling fan and you're conditioned to watching SmackDown, right, on a Tuesday night, the thought is and the belief is that people would tune in, at that time and watch some type of pro wrestling. So that's what they were going for. That would be the reason why they wanted to air their product on a Tuesday night as opposed to any other night throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to make sense to me, especially because human beings are creatures of habit. You're just used to doing something, especially if you do it over and over and over. If you want to watch pro wrestling on a Tuesday night, whether it's WWE or whether it's AEW or Ring of Honor or whatever the hell it is, you'll turn on the TV at 8 o'clock on Tuesday night and watch professional wrestling. And if AEW was able to get that time slot on a Tuesday night, that'd be a big win for them, especially because they'd be able to attract those people that are just used to watching wrestling on a Tuesday night.
Right.
That being said, I think that they've generated enough buzz and have, they're hardcore fans, they're followers.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter, I don't think, if it's on a Tuesday, if it's on a Wednesday, if it's on a Friday, whatever night of the week this is going to be on, I think people are going to tune in and watch.
I am going to disagree with the Tuesday thing. I think actually Wednesday would be the better move. And I say this because the biggest moneymaker for TNT, when it comes to their ad revenue and whatever TV deals they have, it's with the NBA.
Yeah.
Now, in the beginning of the season, when AEW is actually going to start airing their shows, they don't have to worry about the NBA because they don't air on Tuesdays, they air on Thursdays. But then once the All-Star break happens and we have the end of the season and then you have the NBA playoffs, they start airing games on Tuesdays.
Right.
So then you have to have the decision of, do we move AEW to a different night? Do we just not air them when NBA is going to be doing something? Do we move it over to Bleacher Report Live and have them just air simultaneously? That's something that you have to consider. Yeah. But if you move it to Wednesdays, you don't have to consider that.
Yep.
There's nothing going on Wednesdays with the NBA or really anything with TNT. So you could put them consistently on Wednesdays. Don't have to move them ever. Don't have to, put them on Bleacher Report Live exclusively or whatever the case may be. You can leave them there and that's it.
Yep.
And like you said, creatures of habit. So if they know that Wednesday, 8 o'clock, AEW is going to be on for 2 hours, don't have to worry about anything, they'll sit and watch.
Yep.
The other thing, too, that I don't think anybody's really considering is for years and years and years, we had Raw on Monday and SmackDown on Tuesday. SmackDown always had, for the most part, a droppage of ratings. It would never consistently get the same ratings as Raw would.
Right.
And I think a lot of that is the fact that people just do not want to watch 5 hours of wrestling within 48 hours. And especially after a pay-per-view. You got the pay-per-view, which was 4 hours. Then you have Raw, which is 3 hours. And then you have SmackDown, which is 2 hours. That's 9 hours of wrestling right there. And people are just fatigued by the end of that. And it affects SmackDown's product.
It could even be more than that. If you talk about a weekend where they have a takeover, you got
right.
TakeOver Saturday, you got whatever the pay-per-view is on a Sunday, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT again.
Right. So
it's a lot of professional wrestling to follow.
Right.
Too much.
So if you take yourself out of Tuesdays, you create a 24-hour buffer where people can actually regenerate and, recharge their wrestling viewing batteries and be fully invested in AEW on Wednesdays. And this might actually help WWE in their regard too, because people can focus on WWE on Mondays, watch all 3 hours, and then they don't have to worry about it till Friday again. So I think they're going to be okay with this. And the other thing that makes this interesting too is if they do go to Wednesdays, what does this mean for NXT?
Yeah.
Because obviously NXT airs their programs on Wednesdays, but that's on the WWE network, which, as soon as the episode is done airing, you get that video on demand, whether it's on the network or if you subscribe to Hulu, you get that as well. So do people say, okay, I'm going to watch AEW from 8 to 10, and then at 10 o'clock, watch NXT? Or are people going to be like, well, now I'm going to make a decision. Do I watch NXT or do I watch AEW?
So that's going to be a tough one, especially because if they're airing around the same time, you're going to have to pick between one or the other. In those situations, I don't know if AEW intends to be live or taped.
I think live.
Okay, so that would put them at an advantage, because we've seen this before with Nitro and Raw. Raw was taped, Nitro was live, and just the atmosphere alone, you could tell there was a noticeable difference. The live show, in my opinion, always comes across better than a taped show.
Right.
So NXT is taped, so if you're going to tune in to one or the other, I would imagine people would pick the live show, especially given the fact that, if you're already subscribed to the WWE network, maybe you don't watch NXT on Wednesday night. Maybe you could watch it on a Saturday morning or Friday afternoon, whenever you find time to do it.
Right.
So, and especially with AEW being the newer product and kind of having that buzz, it almost feels like it's can't miss television, right? You have to watch it, especially if you're a hardcore fan. You want to make sure you're paying attention to AEW because right now that's the hot thing.
Now, what if by October and SmackDown moves over to Fox says we want NXT on Fox Sports 1? People have speculated that. Nothing has really been, it's never been rumored. It's just more people saying, oh, what if they do this? That could change the game, because what if NXT goes live Wednesday nights on Fox Sports 1? Now you have to make a decision.
Yeah, and then you have your little, the thing everybody's talking about is this war between WWE and AEW, but in reality, to me, when you just compare the in-ring work, like what's expected of an AEW show and what you get from NXT, that'd be something I'd be really intrigued to see. Those two kind of go head-to-head and see, who's trying to one-up one another, if they're on around the same time, what show's better. Because, in all honesty, like I said in our previous video, NXT for quite some time now, in my opinion, has been the best product that WWE has offered, whether it's in-ring, creatively, storyline-wise. The characters are fresher. The wrestling is better. So to have them go head-to-head with AEW, that'd be something that'd be really interesting.
Yeah, I agree. And, I mean, we talked about comparing Double or Nothing to TakeOver 25.
Yeah. Yep.
We didn't compare Double or Nothing to WrestleMania 35, unless, it was way back when we were just comparing the cards before the shows actually happened. Right. And I think, a lot of people, ourselves included, do this AEW versus WWE thing. This big war that's going to happen. Like Wrestling War 2 is finally going to happen. What if the war really is AEW versus NXT?
And I said that a while back, if you remember. So when we first started hearing that AEW might be a thing and they might get television, before it was even announced that AEW was going to be a real company, I didn't even know if they announced that it was going to be called AEW at the time.
Right.
I said, if this is going to happen, their initial competition is going to be NXT, not the main card, because you know what you're going to get with Raw and SmackDown. It's heavily based on a lot of talking segments, maybe some matches here and there, stunts like the 24/7 belt. It's not focused solely on in-ring work, and it's not geared towards hardcore wrestling fans anymore. It's just not. It has to appeal to the masses. With NXT, they know their target audience. They know who they're trying to attract, so you're going to get better in-ring work, faster-paced matches, and And that's very much comparable to AEW.
Right. Yeah,
So-
I agree there. And of course, if AEW ends up airing on Wednesdays and NXT, even if they don't move to Fox Sports 1 and they stick on the WWE network, maybe you get people that are subscribed to the network that want to watch NXT when it airs the first airing.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
people are going to make that decision. Do I want to watch All Elite Wrestling live?
Yep.
Because maybe they put the re-airs on Bleacher Report live. We don't know the full extent of what the plan is for
Yep.
television.
Yep.
And again, this bit of news that the Wrestling Observer newsletter kind of throws things into, a tailspin in a way, because so many people are assuming it's going to be Tuesdays. It's definitely going to be Tuesdays, definitely going to be Tuesday. Tuesday Night Dynamite's what they trademarked for. But then again, they went for a trademark for Bash at the Beach. They didn't get it, but
Didn't they also go for a trademark for the Four Horsemen?
that was Arn Anderson, I think.
Okay.
So, but still, like, you could go for a trademark, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to use it.
Yeah.
So maybe that was AEW's original plan. That was Tony Khan's original plan, was to go on Tuesday. But TNT's like, listen, you might be better off on Wednesdays, because we don't have to move you around when we start airing the NBA games, or have to wait till after the NBA game's over for you to have your show. And
So the thing I want to say about the whole NXT and AEW thing, let's assume AEW is on a Wednesday, right? Do you think that's done intentionally because we got this whole thing going on? It's the elephant in the room. You can't ignore it. The war, so to speak. You got Cody Rhodes, who is now the Throne Breaker, if you saw his new T-shirt.
Right.
And you have this vignette and video of Triple H,
sitting
in the throne, pretty much saying, I'm still here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that they're doing that intentionally because they want to go head-to-head with some... You're not going to compete with Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, not at least initially out of the gate. So, that can't happen. The next show that they can compete against to show dominance of some sort is if they can outdraw, TV-wise, viewers-wise, if we can outdraw NXT, are they doing that to send a message to Triple H and the WWE, you think?
It's possible, because I think everybody knows that once Vince is 100% away from WWE, whether it's he focuses on XFL or, God forbid, he goes to the great people above, Triple H is taken over.
I'd imagine he's the guy that has to.
Right. So, I think Cody sees that and is like, you know what? Vince might not be with WWE in 5 or 10 years, just given his age, given his other focus with the XFL.
Right.
He might not be fully focused in 5 years. Triple H is going to be here for years to come.
Yep.
So if I go after him, that's who I should go after. Go after him, because he's the one that's building the future of WWE, not Vince McMahon.
Yep.
So, and I think, they're very similar in that Triple H being a wrestler and an executive, Cody being a wrestler and an executive. How do they approach their roles? Obviously, Triple H is an executive first, wrestler second. Cody wants to be a wrestler first, executive second.
Well, Triple H is obviously much older. He's He's been wrestling for a very long time. He can't do it full time like he used to. But I think that if they were to go head to head on a Wednesday night, it would bring the best out in NXT, and it would bring the best out in Triple H in terms of what he's able to do with the product.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, NXT has been great for years now. Probably the best thing that WWE has done for years now, and Triple H deserves a lot of credit for that. So I would love to see them go head to head just to see, what would happen. What would AEW offer and what would NXT offer if they were to go head to head to give the edge to one or the other.
Right. And if this ends up being a competition between AEW and NXT, we already know some guys want to come back to NXT.
Yeah.
What if we see more of that?
Yep.
We have the wild card rule in WWE right now. What if we see a Seth Rollins magically appear and challenge Johnny Gargano in a match?
Yep.
Or Velveteen Dream versus Kofi Kingston.
Matt Riddle and Brock Lesnar.
Matt Riddle and Riddle and Goldberg.
Yeah, that too.
So assuming that Matt Riddle agrees to wrestle with him because he thinks that Goldberg is the worst wrestler ever, but that's neither here or there. But that's the stuff that could end up happening. I mean, it's great that wrestling has I shouldn't say competition, but alternatives again.
Yeah.
I hate using the word competition because I don't think it's competition. But if we do see NXT and AEW on the same night, same airtime, then we could start talking competition.
Yes.
So let us know what you think about the latest news about AEW being on Wednesdays instead of Tuesdays, and how this would affect NXT by going in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, share it all over social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at SCPB Podcast. Subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. We're trying to hit 10,000 YouTube subscribers before All Elite Wrestling's All Out. For Ralph Valenti, my name is Michael Valenti, and thank you for watching the Squared Circle Psychobabble.